I'm excited now that we are going to be looking at Dow Jones as our first initial trade that we're going to be looking at, and hopefully you will get some valuable information from this. And again, guys, this video has been proudly sponsored by AAFX. I've been trading with them and they've helped me a lot into me being able to just execute my trades at a faster rate. So if you do want to, create your account with them, the link is in the description box. Trading with a broker that can execute trades much more quicker. So looking at Dow Jones right here, you can simply see that we've got on the 4-hour chart, so I won't be wasting time into going from the dailies and stuff. I'll just literally come from the 4-hour, because on the daily it's still the same thing that we've been looking at for the past few weeks in terms of price bouncing back yet support. So yeah, we still have that bigger daily time frame movement whereby we are seeing buyers. We just have to be able to catch them on the right spot. So what I'll do is that I'll just come a bit down here at the 4-hour chart, and now at the 4-hour chart I can simply see that yes, price did push upwards. Price did push upwards right here. We broke highs. This was a confirmation of a buy, but it came back down, and then we gave lows here, but it went up and we couldn't break these previous higher highs. So this, I would say that it's a higher low, but because it didn't break the previous higher highs, then it started giving me different types of scenarios on which you can see that now price has broken below structure here, which price is giving us a beautiful lows, which is lower lows here. But if I may just look at it on a bigger time frame, for me, with my understanding, I would believe that price is just coming up and price is just giving us some sort of a, like here you can simply see we had our first touch, second touch, third touch, engulfing candle and pushing upwards. So price is literally just giving us that impulse correction, impulse nature, meaning that impulse correction and the next impulse nature. So that's something that we can be looking for or looking at. And then now what I'll do is that I'll jump on the 60-minute time frame, 1 hour, so you're able to see much more clearly. Let me remove this because I don't want this to be our main focus. As long as you guys did see and you are able to understand what's happening in the bigger time frame, the most important thing is how we are going to be entering these trades, how we are going to be planning for them. Like for instance right here, price pushed upwards, yeah, it gave us a higher low, then it broke beyond previous lower highs and stuff, and it came all the way up to here. So you can see here's our previous lowest high, and then now lowest high, yes, and then now we have actually broken above here impulsively. We came back to retest and the price is going back upwards. So I think it's very wise of us to actually be able to just manage it and be able to spot what happens when price actually reaches these areas, because when it breaks above here, at the same time we are breaking that line that we actually had from the 4 hours. So when we break above here, we are also breaking this line right here, which means that there's a higher chance of us being able to just see a buy. So you understand? So once we close above here and price breaks above here, it broke the trend line and as well the horizontal line, which means that there's two confirmations that we've received. So on the 60-minute, what would happen is that normally it will just be us having to look for support, and once we get support around those areas here, that's when we'll be able to buy. So for now, one thing that I can say is that looking at the forecast, it's either price can maybe come back down here and go back a bit to the upside. And maybe if you happen to get a beautiful risk compared to reward, that's when you can be able to just try to look for an entry around these areas. But if that doesn't happen, obviously it means that price can just impulsively move a bit more upwards, come somewhere here, and then drop downwards like this. Let me use my tool whereby I'm more comfortable with showing you guys how I forecast. Maybe price can push upwards and then start to just correct a bit, and then we can take that beautiful buy that we can see going all the way to the upside. So this is something that can happen. But otherwise, even if this doesn't happen, because the most important thing is to wait for what happens when the market gets to these areas, so we are able to take advantage of it. So even if it doesn't happen and the price maybe goes, respects this area and then comes back, then it treats this area now as a resistance, then now it will mean that we have to do what? We have to look for some sellers. Maybe our sellers can go here, our first take profit could be here, but once we break below here, that means that there's a higher chance of us going all the way down to as well maybe an area such as this one here. So even if, like, let's say you miss out on that buy that you would have caught here, obviously maybe you can still capitalize on this short term. I emphasize the word short term because it's not going to be big trades, or I would be looking to go all the way to the downside with them, but you can look into targeting these. But the reason I like those buyers compared to the sellers is because of the fact that with the buyers, our take profit is much more greater. Our take profit is much more huger. Let me just show you guys what I mean when I say our take profit is much more huger. let me just do this. Our overall take profit, let me just come back to the 4 hours so we're able to see clean. Yeah, so once we break above these areas right here, that means that we are now coming all the way up to here. So this is our 4 hour. Look at this range, like all the way from here. This is where our take profit would be at. And once we get to this level, obviously it means that there's a high chance that we can look into taking our second take profit somewhere here. So looking at it, yes, the sell can as well be a possible trade that happens, but the most important thing is to see where the market wins in terms of the highest probability. Like let's say now if we buy, there's a higher chance that we can make 10 times more than what we have risked. But if we are selling, then we can literally make 2% or 3% depending on how we catch that opportunity. And it's going to be very it's going to need more of our attention, because we need to literally be on the charts and manage that trade if we're selling, because the market is actually buying, so we're going against the markets. So that's actually what we have on US 30. Let us take a look at US 100, on which I believe it's also kind of like a similar scenario. The similar scenario, because with the what I was able to spot here is, yeah, price pushed upwards. Price has been ranging throughout this whole phase that we've been at now. So if I may just put up my trend line here, just so I can be able to see what type of pattern is being presented or built right here. You can see that, okay, yeah, we've got our first touches, second touches, third touches here on the support, and we've got as well this beautiful pattern. So this pattern, from my understanding, literally shows us that it's an continuation pattern to the upside. So there's a high chance of price literally breaking these highs and continuing. And one thing that I like is that as soon as we continue, our first take profit would be somewhere around these areas here. This is where our first take profit would be at, and eventually we're going to be going all the way up to here being our second take profit. So let us take a look at how we are going to be capitalizing on US 100. So let me remove these so we don't get that much confused. So removing this, obviously I can see that this is my previously an area of significant, but now price broke out impulsively. But the previous candle before it broke out, it failed to break. It actually rejected, but the next one, it actually broke out massively, and we came back here to retest. So you can see with this beautiful candlestick here, we came back here to retest. But as soon as we're done retesting, boom, it went up, meaning that like if we got an entry somewhere around here, obviously would have now been in a beautiful close to, I think, 1 to 2% in profits. Yeah, close to 1.5% in profits. But it's okay. So what can be expected to happen now is that the market can start ranging. You know, normally on Mondays, one thing that I've seen is that the market ranges a lot. So even if it wants to go to the upside, yes, it can go up, but maybe it can go up in a ranging manner. Like it can start moving upwards like this. Then maybe it can just give us a break to the downside. Then maybe with that break, it will be testing an area such as this. It will be testing an area, because you can see previous support, resistance. Now it was resistance and then it broke out. So there's a time whereby it has to come back here as support. So that can happen. Price can come back here, retest the support, and after retesting as support, maybe here, that's when we can buy. These are one of the trades whereby you'd see people whereby they would buy and then hold a buy, then give back their profits to the market, then maybe go out of small profits or something like that, and then when price goes in that direction, they miss out because of now the fact that they were not there to experience that right to the upside. That's what happens. So you have to be a bit more careful with what goes on with the US 100, but I'm going to keep it simple as that. It's just us being able to look at that beautiful entry. So I am not looking for like a quick support here and back to the upside. That's not what I'm looking for on Monday, because I know how ranging the market can be. But what I'm looking for is if price at least pushes upwards and then starts to correct a bit, maybe a deeper correction. If it gives us a deeper correction, then maybe I can take that buy once it has presented the support. Because yeah, impulse, correction, impulse. So obviously a correction has to happen, and then the next impulse, because you can't enter at literally an end of an impulse and expect to enjoy the right to the upside. It doesn't happen that way. You have to actually enter when the market is moving. It's now in the corrective phase, whereby it's showing where the next impulsive movement is going to be at. That's when it's more like nice to follow through with it, and easier to follow through with. Looking at GBP, JPY, this is one of the most cleanest trades. And guys, if you are liking the way that I explain my trades, liking the way that I actually explain the setups that I'm going to be taking, what I'm looking for, my forecasting, then you can automatically just click the subscribe button and as well turn on the notification bell, so whenever I post such videos, you are the first to actually get to be notified. So let's do that, let's do so. But yeah, looking at GBP JPY, this one here has been very good. To be honest, I've been focusing more on GBP JPY. That's why I saved this trade for the last one, because normally they say you have to save the best for last. So that's what I decided to do. So GBP JPY, I'm still seeing my buy. I've got this area support here, support, third touch as we went up, and now being in this beautiful pattern right here, what I'm seeing is price eventually let me just come here, use this tool here, this impulse, this higher high, basically higher low, higher high, higher low, and I'm looking at price going all the way to the upside and at least reaching our first target, which is the 90% rule, the 90 target here, and then eventually just going upwards, on which I like the fact that the take profit here, we have a lot of potential. Like looking at it, we already can see that there we have a lot of we still have, let me just look at the pips, we still have at least 1,067 pips that we can take advantage of while going up. So even if you do not catch this specific trade, you can still catch more trades, meaning that the market doesn't necessarily move in a picture perfect way. What it does is that it will eventually shoot upwards, correct a bit, 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 and hit target. So you can either buy here, or you can buy here, or maybe here, or maybe you get an opportunity here. So those are ways that you are going to be entering or capitalizing on the market. But if you want to start or get it at an area whereby it's not giving you an entry yet, that's when you'd find yourself be in a position whereby it goes against you, and when you look at it after hours, find out that it's now in your direction, and we do not want that. So moving over to the 60-minute time frame, GBP JPY 60-minute time frame. Yep, 60-minute time frame. So you can see that I've got first touch, second touch, and price has been ranging typically, basically just ranging around these areas here for third touches. But I see a lot of momentum to the upside. Let's say if I may even just move this, focus a bit more on this structure here. Why am I doing that? Is because of price has given me this impulse, and now it's in a corrective phase. So now the fact that I'm in a corrective phase, it means that I need to study so much on that corrective phase. So when it does happen to impulse out of that structure or that corrective phase, I'm able to capitalize from where it impulses in. And with this corrective phase, let me just draw the pattern here for you guys. I can see that it's a continuation pattern to the upside. So it gave us a beautiful continuation pattern to the upside. Something that can be a bit tricky about this is that we could see two scenarios. Price can impulsively decide to break, maybe retest somewhere around these areas and then continue going up, or price can just play a bit more around and then come back down somewhere around here, give us a third touch, first touch, second touch, third touch, and then boom, go back to the upside. So these are things that we can see, and obviously if it does happen, we'll buy somewhere here, which will be nice because we're going to have a capped stop loss. Maybe somewhere here would our stop loss be, and our take profit, we are coming, this is our first take profit. So that's why I said GBP probably looking at least 11% on this simple trade. But even if it doesn't happen that way, because remember one thing that I done, I think it was last week, I noticed that I done a breakdown like this for you guys, and I was like, guys, it's either maybe if it breaks out like this, I'll buy, stop loss here. Like let's say here for instance, I would even put my stop loss right here. Once I put my stop loss here, then my take profit, I would move it a bit more to the upside and leave it here. So even if I buy and then it goes and it hits me at stop loss, that means that I've lost minus 1%. It's okay. Once it hits me at stop loss, it doesn't mean that I've failed. No, it means that it's now giving me another opportunity. So it only means that at a smaller time frame, this was a pattern in here, first touch, second touch, third touch. It only means that it wanted to come down and then go up. So it hit my stop loss, yes. So it's either I decide to do two things. It's either I make my stop loss be huge, over 80, 90 pips, on which I'm not comfortable. I wouldn't do that. I'd rather have my stop loss be hit than have such a big stop loss, because such a big stop loss for me, it means that I'm not too sure where price is going to go. So I'd rather have it here, take my loss if it does happen to go down. And when it's down, then when I'm here, I'm actually going to buy, have a much more even closer, tighter stop loss, And even here, it's going to be much more nicer because my risk reward is going to be more than the first trade. So for the first trade was going to give me at least a 9%. But the second trade, as much as it hit me 1%, I'm down by 1%. But if I close already 13%, 13.8, which is close to 14%, 14%, that means I'm profit of 14%, I'm profit of at least 13 percentages. So that's something I'm willing to risk 1% in order to gain all those percentages. So these are things that you need to be on the lookout for, especially when you're looking at trading the markets, the GBP, JPY market, because I've been like literally following through with it. And the way that I've seen it, it's been moving like, in a way whereby it's very easy to follow through with, but it's very tricky if you're a person that doesn't let the market actually show you what it wants to do for you to be able to react in a positive or to respond in the right way to it. Otherwise, you are going to be reacting, and when you react, that's when you are going to end up taking impulsive decisions, over risking, over trading, and going through all of these things that are going to be a bit more tricky for you. But that's what I have for today's video, and I'm glad that you guys did watch up until here, because most people, they are going to watch like, the first part, the second part, they just want to see if we are buying or selling. They don't really care much about the information that we're getting in a bit more deeper of why those things are happening. I think with trading, I can show you each and every week, we can buy, we can sell, we can buy, we can sell. But if I can start showing you why I'm buying, why I'm selling, that's something that's a bit more powerful, because you'd be able to know how you can now make your own analysis, how you can now make your own trade ideas. And even if I'm sharing some analysis in our Telegram public group, you'd be able to know why I'm sharing it that way. And even if maybe you've seen that I made a mistake, you'd be able to know, okay, there's a mistake that this guy made. Let me just also have my own analysis on the side and focus a bit more on it. And guys, I'm excited to announce that we've got the premium signals group that we've launched just a few days ago, and we're literally looking to work with only limited number of people. So if you believe that you are that person that would want to work with us in our premium signals group, then I'll just leave the link as well in the description so you can also take advantage of them. So thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. I will see you in the next YouTube video.